What the heck is going on, says Lauren there.
What did I do?
Hey, let us know how we look today, because I played with some of the picture settings to maybe give us a little more
oomph.
Pop,
A little less, meh, a little more, meh.
Something like that.
Meh.
It's been fun around here. We had a little technical difficulties yesterday with Rodney's show, but got those sorted out.
Is it a day in the studio if we don't have technical difficulties?
There's been a day or two we haven't had technical difficulties. We just kind of showed up and done a show, which is pretty awesome and my favorite way to do that.
A handful
of days it goes like that. So
this is like old Lauren. I'm still messing with this.
I know. I'm doing that too. So talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, for a moment.
Have a coffee.
Yeah, the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. Discuss.
Good morning, Beth.
What am I doing here? Oh yeah.
Nobody knows.
Beth's here. Okay. There we go. Good morning, Beth. Get the sponsor logos going up there.
Hey, look at that.
So, yeah, what I was kind of saying before I got in there, I went to the annual, we have the American Chefs Federation local chapter, Springfield Branson group, has a meeting every month, and I very much like going to that.
That's good, because there's food involved, right?
There's food involved. Yeah, that's the
Tasty food.
That's the real fun part. Is there's a meal every time, usually cooked by like a super good chef, and all that stuff. So that's pretty awesome. But it was a membership drive, and so there's a lot of cool people there. And I'd been a member for a year, and they asked me to speak.
They're like, "Hey, you want to talk?" You're like, "Okay."
Yeah, because they're like, "Hey, tell the people why you rando person who's not a chef."
Because I'm will worship and I do weird things.
that would have been the short answer. Why did you join the American Culinary Federation? So I got to tell the story about how I wound up in culinary school as an adult, and and how I got there. But and they were like, "Huh,
look at this guy.
Nice speech." Like, well,
hope our internet's working good.
I kind of do it for a living. I do you have a reason to believe that
it's paused on my phone, but that could be a number of things. That could be my phone internet.
Are you on cellular?
Yeah.
Well, you're inside a metal building.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that could be the problem. So maybe I'll tell you how to connect to the Wi-Fi one of these days. And then
that'd be handy to have.
That would be handy. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, wow. Look at all the comments I've been missing here. Yeah, Legacy Farms, Copper Top. Hi. Hey, Emma, did you see Darren Chappell's post?
I did.
Yeah, they got up there the Capitol, and they got to hobnob with the big wigs and all that stuff with Darren. So that was
cool.
It was pretty cool. And it's always good when you've got a good host. And I remember going up there one time when Mike Cunningham was he was senator or representative, and bumped into him in the hall, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Will, come to the office. Hey, let me show you around." I'm like,
"Okay.
Don't you have stuff to do, man?"
No, man, I need to show you my office.
So it was cool. You know, he was very friendly, and I'm of course sure Darren would just love to see people up there.
Darren would get a kick out of that.
You know, and what's interesting is Darren, he's not your rep, he's not my rep, he's not Emma's rep, and yet he is, because he represents us all.
I just burned my mouth. Sorry. He is. Well, he is that type of person.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't really care, I don't think, where the boundaries are. He's going to talk to people and get the information out there and then bring it to the state. Yep. I mean, he's no joke, serious about it.
And honestly, there's probably not that big of a difference between Webster County, Rogersville, and Greene County, Rogersville.
No.
Which is really the dividing line.
There's really not much difference at all.
There. Okay.
But no, Emma was up there yesterday with her boys, I'm sure doing awesomeness at the state government level, and they have been participating in some cool things over at Turner's. So Copper Top Legacy Farm has been selling beef over there for a while now. And Emma wanted me to talk about their tasty brunch that Jill's doing over there.
Well, tell me all about it, because I'm all in for a tasty brunch.
So Jill has served food at Turner's forever. And if you don't know where Turner's is, it's on D Highway. It's on Sunshine, a couple miles outside of Springfield. And it's a historic place. It's been there forever.
We'll make the ghost microphone
since the dawn of time. Hey, oh no, it was helping cover some of my cords I was so proud of. Dang it. Sean, I covered the cords for you, and look at this. Oh, never mind. It actually didn't cover them.
No, but I will. I got the stuff to fix the cords, and I'll work on that. But so now the tasty brunch.
So they've got brunch. She's got brunch at Turner's, and I'm very excited to go try it. And it's from like 9 to 2, so it's breakfast, brunch, lunch time at Turner's on Saturdays. And there's rumor there may be fresh beef.
So you could actually get lunch out of that.
You could get breakfast, you could get brunch, you could get lunch. All three.
I may have lunch plans for today then.
Well, yeah, you can get lunch at Turner's. She's done that for a long time.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I've gone out there and got sandwiches before.
She usually has some sort of hot dish, hot food.
Hey, Stephen, good morning
Special.
to you, too.
So,
I'm trying to pay
Jill over at
attention to
Turner's.
your comments, but I've got a split attention thing going on right now, so
Don't worry about it.
I'm working on it. Anyway, yeah, oh, well, that's cool. I kind of want to go out there and see that. But I guess the government has now admitted that there are UFOs. We know that, right?
I think, I think there's UFOs. I mean, that's an unidentified flying object.
Well, it doesn't mean that they're aliens, but
they come in peace.
yeah, I think that they're. What's funny is all the take me to your leader jokes. Oh, never.
No,
mind.
you don't want to go to him.
No, never.
No.
mind.
Anybody but him.
Anybody but him.
Can we pick someone else? You don't want to talk to that guy.
You don't want to talk to that guy, or the aliens that show up and go, "Oh, well, we'll come back later."
That's not what I expected.
Yeah, no kidding. So today's Taco Tuesday. There you go. That's good to know.
Holy moly! Every waffle morning's Taco Tuesday.
It is. That's right. It's the Morning Waffle and Taco Tuesday all the time.
Do you know what I noticed this morning driving here?
What was that?
So the big chunk of land it's on 60. It abuts to the park. Okay?
Yes. The sinkhole.
It's got a big sold sign on it.
Really?
Yeah.
The sinkhole land?
Part of it's sinkhole, part of it's not. But it's got a big sold sign on it. And I've heard rumor of what might happen there, but I'm not going to say that because it's just strictly rumor.
Tell me later.
And then they're moving dirt over at the primary, which would be the FEMA shelter that they're starting as part of the bond issue.
Hey, as I was driving by there this morning, it caught my eye. Are there solar panels on part of that building? Or was that just an optical illusion?
That would have been a mistake. Okay. Not that I'm aware of. I have
just
no knowledge of solar panels.
Okay, well, it just kind of looked like it, and I don't want to start any rumors, but...
No, I think it's probably just the metal, the way that the metal sits on there. It's got some funky angles and some funky ridges.
Well, and when I got to look at it, I'm like, well, the way the roofs are slanted, they look like they could have been designed to capture, because there's one that's kind of east facing, one that's kind of south facing, and one that's kind of west facing. That could have been designed for solar panels. And I have I think weird about solar myself.
That's fair.
I like solar. I think it's cool. I've got solar panels on my truck, for crying out loud. I like them.
It's nifty.
I like solar, but I don't like being forced into solar. So I don't
want to finance solar.
I don't like the government intervention in solar that's spending my money against my will for solar.
That's fair.
That I'm not seeing any of, and I don't like the government telling me I have to use solar. Did you see the thing on your iPhone? You don't have an iPhone.
I don't have an iPhone.
I posted a video the other day. There's now a battery setting that is by default on that says, we're really only going to charge your phone if we know that it's using clean energy and not coal. And so that...
I don't know where to begin with the dumbness of that.
Yeah, so I posted a video of I posted a video of me turning it off. Something like I
think Emma shared the link to the event in.
There it is.
So Jill's having Taco Tuesday at Turner's.
That is awesome. So here's what I've been. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
you go.
I'm stumbling over what you just said. Okay. Next subject, because that's ridiculous.
I've been having. So a friend of mine had been posting about his experiences with this new Chat GPT. Have you seen that?
I have heard legend and seen some videos of the Chat GPT.
Yeah, so this is an AI. What did Steven say?
He shut it off too.
Yeah, he shut it off too.
Shut that down.
The Chat GPT, so it's an AI deal, artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And so you can create an account and log on. I just Googled Chat GPT and it got me there. It's like chat.openai.something. But
okay.
And you go in there and you just basically tell it something that you want,
You're
right?
Like, I want a story about leprechauns invading a palace.
It is shockingly good.
I've heard this.
Now, I will say...
Creepy!
I will say one thing about it. The first thing I asked it was, write me an essay on the evils of socialism.
How'd that go?
It said, well, I don't really take political positions, and so I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was basically like, I'm not really going to do it. But here are some things that people have said that are critical of socialism.
Like, did you test it with a different?
Oh, yeah. Next thing I said was, write me an essay on the evils of capitalism. Boom. Capitalism's blah, 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 blah. I mean, it just gave me this rant on how evil capitalism is. I'm like,
there you go.
ChatGPT, I don't think you're really quite as neutral as you think you are.
We fact-checked your neutralism.
And you're full of crap.
And it didn't check out. Independent fact-checkers determined.
But I kept playing with it. So I had this idea for a book and or movie for a couple of weeks. And I'm a pretty good idea factory, but I'm not really... Yeah.
This is shocking to me.
But I'm not real good on follow through. So I'm never going to devote... What? No, we're all
You heard it first on the waffle.
So I'm never going to sit down and devote the time to actually write the script, right?
Yeah, I know.
So I thought... Wonder what this ChatGPT thing would do with that.
Hey, friend, you want to write this for me?
So here's what was cool. So
awesome.
I said, and I'll just tell you, because like I said, I'm never going to write it, so somebody else can write it if they want to write it. But I said, write me a story about a small town in middle America that discovers that the world is actually run by a deep state, Illuminati
deep state
cartel.
Yeah.
And so the cartel decides to
wipe it
off the map by removing it from all social media, internet. So if you search for this town or any of the people, you can't find them.
Yeah.
And it said, okay, here's the story. And it wrote like a decent story about it. I mean, it was pretty simplistic because it was only about maybe 10 paragraphs. But then I said, okay, write it again. And this is all I said. Write it again, but from a darker perspective.
And it was like... It was midnight.
And it did. And in the second version of it, the cartel won. But in the first one, like the city triumphed.
They won.
And then what did I say? I said, okay, write it again, but if it's a movie script. And it's like, okay, fade in. And it does the whole, and like the dialogue, and it named the characters and everything.
What?
Oh, yeah. And then I said, okay, but this time, make it, and they named the protagonist John. I said, this time, make it so that John is an android. And so in that one, he discovers he's an android. And in the end, he's like, but I'm still a person, damn it. Wrote the whole thing. And like, okay, this time, give it a twist ending. And so it writes the whole thing. And at the end, when he's confronting the cartel, one of the cartel members says, but we're not the real cartel. We're just a distraction. And then one of the other cartel members like kills that guy.
Gosh,
yeah. And then I said, okay, this time, give John a love interest. And so it gave him a girlfriend in the next version. And then I said, okay, in this one, John's love interest is a cartel agent.
Oh.
And so it wrote it from that. It wrote it that way. Just rewrote it like that.
You're writing it as you're telling us about this. Well, it's weird. It's weird because the point that they're making is like, well, are we going to need, professors and teachers and stuff in the future, which of course, yes, we will. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's not
crazy. That good. But I mean,
no, it's not that good.
You could just say, hey,
See, they've been doing this with artwork for a while. Have you ever played around with that?
Oh, yeah. I'll show you.
That's totally weird.
I did the one where you create your own avatar. You like upload like 20 selfies of yourself and it creates pictures of you.
We had a full-blown microphone collapse.
Well, that's because that's
You didn't see that, but I saw that.
You didn't see that, yeah. That's because that's not one of the good clamps.
No, man.
I've got 3 good clamps, and one just went missing, and I don't know in the move, and I don't know how that happened. But
that's crazy.
But yeah, I had it make the avatars, and some of them were pretty good, and some of them were horrible.
Some of them were strange.
Some were
alter
horrible.
egos.
But so the last thing I did with the ChatGPT, because I was going to the meeting last night, and I knew I was supposed to talk, and I always speak extemporaneously. I really never plan what I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's so fun.
I said, hey, write me a speech about why a non-chef would join the American Culinary Federation. And I could have read it word for word.
You're kidding me.
Nope. It was that good.
Weird.
It was that good. It had like 3 points. And I'm like, they were all pretty darn good points.
Maybe it will help people go back to the actual rules of literature, because you used to have an English teacher that taught you some not literature, but English.
Yeah.
So you used to have
grammar.
There we go. Grammar and how to properly form a paper and an email and to argue your case. And I remember all of these things that I learned in high school English from Mrs. Stilley about how to write a paper and put a complete thought.
Yeah.
And then throw some grammar in there for fun. Maybe it'll help with that.
Maybe it'll help
Probably
with that.
won't,
but here's the thing. I mean, if I was a high school student and I had to write a paper, it's the first place I'd go.
Well, how are they going to combat that? It's
I don't
be a big
know.
problem.
I mean, I don't
It's gonna
know.
be a huge problem.
I would think so, but
Don't cite your sources.
it doesn't cite sources. That would be the only problem.
So that would be the deal.
Yeah, that'd
be the dill pickle.
You couldn't
That'd
cite
get you.
But I mean, if you found your sources and then just kind of plug that information into the chat bot, it'd spit it out for you.
That's so weird. Ballard's
It's pretty fun. You should
Ballard's
play
not
with
here
it.
today because he's sick. I'm getting over a cold too. I think what is it about this time of year where everybody's like,
It's the weather change.
weather
Your body's
changes?
just like, this is
I
not
don't know
right.
what to do, so I'm going to put a bunch of snot in your head
Yep.
and make you deal with it.
Yep. Yeah, I think
like
that's
it.
exactly what it is. We don't
I don't like it at all. I don't
we're not
trust
sure
it.
what's going
Could write a
on.
paper about that.
Hey, if anybody in our neck of the woods is missing 2 very friendly black dogs,
I saw the picture. They
Yeah.
looked friendly, or the
they
video.
were super friendly. Yeah, Jack took that video. When he got home, he sent me the video and texted me like, there's 2 very friendly dogs here at the porch. And I'm like, well, do they have collars? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And they left last night. And as I was leaving to go to the meeting, I saw them over on a field
yonder.
by U Highway. But then when I got back for the meeting, they were back at the house.
They're like, hey, friends, we're back.
We're back. And then I guess they were there because Shelby said they sacrificed a skunk last night at our house.
The dogs are...
The dogs.
Okay.
Because we could smell it.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
It
she's
is
like,
very skunk season. They're everywhere.
You might want to avoid the dogs.
They're happy and stinky.
She said that Jack avoided them, and when I left, I was the last one to leave this morning. They were not there again. But Jack had said, "Well, we need to feed them," and
No.
we were like, "No,
Nope.
don't feed them.
Don't you feed them.
Because they need to go home and get fed."
Sounds like to me they have a home. And
Oh yeah, they've got collars and they're friendly.
Out of wondering.
They're somebody's dogs. They're black dogs, cute, really nice. But if you're missing some dogs,
They're wondering.
hit me up. We'll try to get them back to you.
Oh, skunk is in the rut. They are out and about.
Yeah.
I was driving down a farm road, and there was a water pipe coming out, or like a drainage pipe coming out, a small one, and I saw a skunk skirt down into it, and I was like, oh, skunks.
Yep.
They're silly.
They're
Why? Here's my thing. Have you ever seen those videos about God deciding the different, it's like there's God and an angel deciding the different quirks about animals?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and a dolphin, it'll be in the ocean. It'll be the dog of the ocean.
Yeah.
And the angel's like, good job, God. Have you seen those? They're funny videos.
No, I haven't.
So my whole thing is like, why was God like, skunks will smell. They will be cute and fluffy.
I think that's for comedic effect.
And they will smell terribly. If you get it on you, it will be a nightmare.
We're going to make us a stinky cat.
A stinky cat. Why?
stinky cat.
Why? We don't know.
We want a stinky
We
cat.
want one animal on the planet. They're the only one, right? I mean, there's other animals that are stinky
don't
and have
know.
defense mechanisms.
I don't know about that.
But a skunk is the only thing I know about that will spray from a distance.
Well, what is a civet cat? Is that just another
don't
name
know
for
what
a?
that- never heard of
I
that.
think that has similar functions.
Pepe
but
Le Pew.
I did hear.
Yes, Stephen.
What did Steven?
Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, I did hear that somebody posted one time. Foxes? Do foxes?
Foxes stink?
I mean, do they?
Not to the level of a skunk, though.
No, I did see a meme that talked about how that a giraffe is essentially a horse designed by committee. I'm like, that sounds about right. Have you ever actually looked at a giraffe? I mean, it is the goofiest looking animal.
Weird.
I mean,
it's so weird.
Because its body is like compressed
It
this
makes
way.
no
It's
sense.
like that big long neck. I mean, I get it. You know, the neck could so you can eat the leaves at the top.
well, yeah,
that
we
nobody
know
else
why
can.
it exists,
We
but-
get that, but it's just, ooh.
It's weird. And you could be like, oh, well, it's evolution. Well, why is it the only thing that evolved with a nasty old stink sack?
Well, that's a good point.
Gross.
That's a
Sorry,
good point.
I'm just feel weird that I said that on the waffle. this
Stink
morning.
sack?
I apologize.
Stink.
I'm gonna take that away. Strike that from the dialogue.
Edit it right.
Edit it
We'll
right
take
out.
care of that in post. Well, it's live.
Somebody the
There's
other day,
no
I
post.
walked into the office and they're like, "Oh, how was your show?" And I was like, "It was good." And they're like, "Do you do that totally live?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Uh-huh.
And he looked at me and he's like totally live? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, aren't you afraid you're going to say something that, and I'm like, no, I mean, I've done this long enough. I have a pretty good, handle on.
We've been at it for 3 years.
Not saying something that will get me in huge trouble. I don't want him kicking in the door and coming after me.
Well, that's just a matter of time, Lauren.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
But at least we're ready to shoot back.
Pew pew. It's my Pepe Le Pew.
We got a stink sack on the door.
We've got booby traps.
It's like Home Alone in here.
Oh, it's straight. There's definitely booby traps.
There is. They're unintentional, but we need to have an open house.
That's a great idea, Will Worsham.
We need to have an open house.
I can help you execute that.
I would appreciate that. So but it needs to be, I think, in March.
Agreed.
And we need a deadline.
February's almost over.
Yeah. Well, more so that I have a deadline to clean all this up and make it look decent.
I like that idea.
Let's do that.
Let's do it. Let's talk. We'll discuss
sit down,
afterwards
you, me,
and figure out.
And maybe Bruce. Oh no, Beth. Yeah, are people kicking me shins?
They're kicking me shins. I got my stink sock after them. Back up.
That's what it is right there.
You're coming in too hot.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's talk to Bruce, see when he wants to do it too, because he's a big part of this. And
yeah.
Of course, this little area, this is like the resource center, insurance, and
it's a shared workspace.
My law firm's out there and
floating
in the ether, and it's not really that untrue.
That's
and
rad.
And then the majority of the space in Unit C is this studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is most of it.
It's cool. I like the idea of an open house.
Yeah, we'll have a little fun.
I'm a big fan of that.
We'll get some snacks.
Get
some snacks.
I like it. I'm always a fan of snacks.
And we can live stream it. We can live stream the open house.
Walk in front of the camera, say hi, walk out.
Be awesome.
We could do like a shake hands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. Come and have a seat behind the waffle desk.
Take a
and speak to the world. Oh, the other thing I really wanted to tell people, because they're going to start seeing it, particularly if you have any of our apps,
is this a surprise?
No, I've been talking about it, but
okay.
We are launching Planet 417.
It's happening.
It's in process. So
it's happening.
Your app on your phone may have switched over, if you noticed. Instead of no longer shows K-ROG, it now shows Planet 417.
Okay, I'll look at
the app on your phone. And so if you have any of our apps, iPhone apps, Android apps, Google apps,
all the apps,
Apple TV, Fire Stick, applications, Roku, you may have downloaded K-ROG TV and you maybe look at it and go, what's that Planet 417?
What's that?
What is that? Planet 417 is a regional K-ROG, essentially. It's for all of Southwest Missouri, and we've got several people and communities coming on board and interested with what we're doing there. And
that's exciting.
We are going to, K-ROG will be essentially a channel or a local affiliate of Planet 417.
It's exciting.
And what I want to make sure all of our people know is that K-ROG isn't going anywhere. It's still going to be here. We're still doing everything we've always done with K-ROG. It'll still be available everywhere it's available now, on the apps, in Twitter, YouTube, all that. None of that is going away. We're just joining something.
We've morphed.
We're growing a little bit.
Chrysalis is turning into a butterfly.
Yeah, we've just, other communities have seen what we're doing here, and some have tried it on their own and failed.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's harder. We make it look easy. That's.
It's hard.
I'll tell you. This may sound a little obnoxious, but it's just not that would. I sort of have this thing where I make things look easier than they are.
Yeah.
When I do stuff.
Yeah.
So,
you're really good at winging it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't realize the chaos that's kind of happening around Will. Sometimes you do.
Until you hang around enough.
Yeah. And then you're just like, okay, here we go.
Duck.
Yeah.
But Vicky's running late today. But so there was this one poor kid. I was a second year. Law school's 3 years. I was a 2L. That's what they call second. You're 1L, 2L, 3L. Those are your 3 years is what you're called instead of freshman, junior, senior, whatever. And I was a 2L. And me and my buddies, I'd made a couple friends, and we kind of had, we'd finished our first year. We knew our class rank. We knew it wasn't going to change significantly.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do to succeed and graduate, but it's all good.
Yeah.
And so we had law school figured out. And so this 1L.
We had law school figured out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we knew what we knew. It wasn't like, what do we do? Like when
we know
when to study. We know what to study. All that. So, well, this 1L started hanging around with us, and like we goofed off a lot.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
So he thought that was how you did law school.
No.
He flunked out.
He did not do well. That's how you do law school after you figured out law school.
Yeah, we made it look easier than it was, and he just didn't realize what was.
And I think that's part of the entrepreneurial, I can never say that word right.
Entrepreneurial,
spirit, personality.
Yeah, it is.
Because you just kind of go with the flow.
Yep.
And you're used to rapid changes.
Yep.
And you just kind of, you make it work with the chaos around you.
Well, yeah, and there's a little bit of, well, I can try that.
Yeah,
that I think a lot of people won't do.
Yeah.
I can do about anything. There are some things that I can do competently. There are other things that I can do well.
Yeah.
There are some things I'm really good at, and there's maybe one, maybe two things that I excel at. They're like, these are my best things that I can do. And honestly, public speaking is probably one of them.
Yeah,
I'm one of those.
You're a good public speaker. I've listened to some of your just presentations, and it's good. It's very good.
If I could do nothing but public speak, that would be the thing.
That would be the thing. You'd be the best
I
at.
would do. Yeah.
I have found with myself, I am good at lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things. I'm interested in lots of things. Technology stuff is unfortunately not one of those things that I love, but I use it enough to participate in the world that we live in, obviously, but I don't love it. I don't have any sort of passion, desire to learn about it, nothing, which I don't know why. But anyway, so that's one example of something I know. But in general, I was that kid who's like, oh, I want to play tennis. And I'd get a tennis racket. I'd be like, oh, I want to play golf, which I would still play golf if I, had time. But anyway.
Golf takes so much time.
It takes so much time. And it's like going to the movie theater. It takes so much time.
Mm-hmm. It's a commitment.
It is a commitment. And so I like to do lots of things. I'm not sure exactly specifically what I excel at. Probably keeping all the balls moving and in the air and all that stuff. That's probably
You're a really
my
good
thing.
connector.
Yes. Yeah. I'm good at that. So I'm one of those people that, but then there's some stuff I just have a mental block on I don't want to do. And I think part of that, being a successful individual, is figuring out your quirks like that, because everybody has their own quirks.
One of the interesting things that they said at when I was going to Strategic Coach, I went to Strategic Coach for about 3 years. It's an entrepreneurial coaching network.
Yeah.
So I'd go to Chicago, I'd go to Toronto for a day to attend these seminars. And I picked up a lot of good stuff, but there's a few nuggets you kind of pull out of stuff like that, that you kind of stick with you. And one of the things that Dan Sullivan said, he's like, everybody's trying to like work on their weaknesses and make their weaknesses better. He says, don't do that. Then you have like better weaknesses. He's like, work on your strengths. Make your strengths super powerful.
I agree with that.
And then find other people to fill in where you're weak. Find somebody else that's strong.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's brilliant. And it's very freeing, because you don't just sit there and go, man, I suck at this. I need to get better at that. He would be like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
Be good at what you're good at. Get better at what you're good at.
Yeah.
And find somebody else. And then you get teamwork and you get synergy.
Well, and having other people balance you out is super important. That's why JR and I work together so well, because we really balance each other out. I mean, people are like, you're siblings. How do you work together? And I mean, we do occasionally fight. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, we really work together well, and it's because we balance each other's strengths and weaknesses out.
I think routinely, every so often, the fact that I think that you are instrumental in the fact, for multiple reasons, that the Morning Waffle is here today. Part of it is just because you're here and participating about it, but part of it is because you balanced me out. Because when we first...
I did. It's like, you're crazy.
When we first started this, I'm like, we're going to do this every morning.
I need you to be at the studio at 7 a.m. every morning. It's in the midst of COVID. Your children are at home. We need to do this. Will's excited. He's got a new toy.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And Lauren's like, no, we're not.
I was like, hold up.
Once
crazy.
a week.
We're not doing that.
Yep.
You're going to drive everybody away. Stop it.
Yep. And that's what you said, pretty much. And I'm like, okay, well, how about once a week? And you're like, I can do once a week. But here's what: if we'd have done it my way, we'd have burnt out
We'd be gone.
We'd have maybe made it. We
probably wouldn't be friends anymore.
I know. We might have made it 3 months, maybe. you know?
That is 100% true.
And then we would have burnt out. But because,
Good morning, Heather.
Because you tempered that, you balanced me out, and once a week we've had a lot more longevity.
Yeah.
Which has been really good for
It has been
us
really
and
good.
the waffles. So.
Well, and it does. It takes those
job,
people. Good job, Will. It takes those people to balance you. It's the most important thing that you learn as you get older, as you do your careers longer, as whatever that it is that you do. You have to have people to help you, and they have to be the right people.
Yeah, they have to be your people.
And if they're not your right people, it's perfectly okay to move on. It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is. But it's like you have to surround yourself with the right people in your life. There's too many people, in my opinion, that hold on to toxic relationships. You don't have to. You don't have to do that.
Nope.
And my thing that I've gotten better in the past 2 years, and this has been a conscious effort to do this. Somebody told me last night, we were working on some PTA stuff. They're like, I don't know how you do everything that you do. And I was like, well, first of all, I'm just used to this pace of life. I'm used to go, go, go life. Second, I spend a whole lot of time at home, and people may not realize that. I spend a lot of time at home because I say no to certain things.
Right.
I specifically say no to certain things that will take my family out of our home and put us someplace else and add to the drive time, between Rogersville and Springfield. And a lot of that is kids' activities. And people may say, well, your kids should be doing all these sports and stuff. I choose to not do that at this age of life because it would take us out of our home. And I think in general, not everybody, I think a lot of people need to spend a little bit more time at home.
Yeah, I think that's true. I get that question too. How do you do all the stuff that you're involved in? And I think that there's a couple of Emma commented, but I can't get that comment to show up.
Emma said shout out to Sibling Partners because she works with her brother too.
That is correct. But I think that a lot of people, for me, I multitask all the time.
Yep.
I may be at home, but I'm probably checking my email, my text messages, and responding and taking care of things. And if you deal with a question at 8 o'clock at night that somebody sent you, then you don't have to do that.
That's why we became friends, ultimately.
Really?
Because you posted on the residence page advertising your
I did the $500 Friday.
$500 Friday.
That's right. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. And I was like, I need to do a trust. I'm going to send this guy a message. And it was like it would have been a Sunday. And I totally expected you to respond sometime next week. Immediately. Pretty well immediately that evening, I got a response. And I was like, what? Why is this lawyer responding to me? Because, I grew up around lawyers. It's like,
Sure.
Why is this lawyer responding to me at this time? But it's true. That's part of it. If you can go ahead and just answer it and get it done.
It's off your plate.
It's off your plate. It's done. You're still at home. Maybe I have to tell the kids, hold on, I'm answering a work email. I have to do that a lot. But still, it's done, and you can move on to the next thing, and you can have, uninterrupted time with family between, and it works good.
Yep.
But it's not for everybody. Some people can't function that way.
I was at the chef's meeting last night, and I'm getting messages, and I brokered a gun deal in the middle of on my phone in the middle with text messaging in the middle of the chef's meeting. So I was accomplishing two things at once. And the other thing, I think what I've run into a lot with lawyers that have come, I probably had 4 or 5 lawyers that have come to me in my career and just said, hey, I can see that you run a very efficient, you get a lot done.
Yeah.
Tell me how to do that. And I say, okay, here's the first thing. And I give them a list usually of apps, devices, pieces of software.
Things that make the job easier.
And they go, well, no, I don't like technology. Tell me how to do it without all that. And I just kind of look at them and go, that's how you do it. You use tools to make your life easier.
Yes. And that's the interesting thing about real estate. They advertise tools out there to make your life easier.
But they're terrible.
At the end of the day, it's such a client one-on-one.
Sure.
There is really not much work you can do on the back end of it. I mean, you can do marketing and stuff like that, and I could do better at marketing us as a team. There's marketing your properties for your clients, and then there's marketing yourself as a team.
Working your business and working on your business.
Yes, and I could do better at marketing our team, but frankly, there's only so much you can do in a day. So my number one focus is the client aspect of it, not marketing our brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And when you talk about clients, that's difficulty. I had said, back when I was doing criminal defense, I said, this would be pretty good business if it wasn't for all the clients. And, man, my comment, but, oh, no, there it is. It came
crazy.
up. Vicky's came up. Vicky's agreeing. I'm not sure with which point, but she agrees.
Yes. So there's technology can help you be better organized in real estate, but there's a lot of things that it cannot take over for you.
Well, as you know, I am highly allergic to phone calls.
Yes.
I don't like phone calls, and I thought, I mean, it never really occurred to me, but I have thought about it more and more and more as I've kind of changed my profession and slipped more into just estate planning and all that instead of the going to court all the time. I mean, nobody in my world has an emergency anymore. When I was a criminal defense attorney, people had emergencies and needed to get a hold of me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I have kind of really shifted away from phone calls. I'm like, don't call me.
Yeah.
There's better ways to communicate. My problems with phone calls is, one, it's synchronous communication, not asynchronous. And what I mean by that is synchronous, like you say something, then I have to say something, then you say something, then I have to say something. And there's really not that time to analyze what we're going to say. That's one problem with phone calls. The other problem I have with phone calls is a lot of times I'll say, well, can you email me that or text it to me? And they will say, well, it would be easier if I called you.
No.
And I'm like, well, no, it's easier for you to call me. It's not easier for me, because what you're going to do is you're going to spill all this information at me that I am now responsible for writing down, recording correctly. And
in a legal way.
Yeah.
Right?
And what you're really doing is putting your burden on me.
No, and that makes perfect sense doing what you do. And in my job, I have to do phone calls. I have no option. There is no way. We communicate a lot by text, but at the end of the day, the phone call is the thing that gets the deals done or breaks the news or gets us where we need to be. And every once in a while in real estate, they'll bust out some new thing. This is going to change real estate. This is going to revolutionize real estate. And the last big one was a Zillow thing that, lost them $500 million.
Yeah, I remember Zillow.
Yeah.
Well, but most of my clients, I mean, they usually start with, well, why can't I call you? Once I explain it, they usually go, oh, I understand. And usually it's like, listen, I want to make sure that we get the information from you as directly and accurately as we can, and that we have a written record of what we're doing and the information is. You tell her, first of all, I know who I am. I'm probably going to forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
A good portion of what was said.
If you want to, and so for me, if you want to tell me something just so that I know it, you've given me some information to do with whatever I choose, text me. It's a great way to do that. I can see it. I can respond. Yep. I usually will acknowledge it with a thumbs up or something so that I saw the message. If it's something that you need me to do, like I need to take action on, send me an email. Because it will sit in my inbox until I do it. That's my to-do list. But as far as anything else, don't call me. I don't. Because here's the other thing I don't like. Here's the other thing I don't like about phone calls. They don't let me multitask, and I want to multitask, and I can't probably if I have to call you, 9 times out of 10, I'm driving when I call you.
Yep.
Because now I'm getting 2 things done at once. Yep. And I will wait to return phone calls until I am driving.
Garrick Allen says, Planet 417, exciting stuff.
Yes, it is. His comment got through before I could put it on the screen. But yeah, thank you, Garrick.
I like it.
Jump in on some of that. We could use a guy of Garrick's talents and skills for something.
I think we're getting close to our time.
We are. It's time to land the plane.
Hold on. Wildcat Closet is open from 4 to 6 p.m. tonight for donations and shopping. If you have if you know of an LR student who could use some clothes, use some hygiene items, or just, frankly, wants to come check the place out, send them our way.
Send them over there. Where's it at?
It is the Rock Building right in front of the Upper Elementary on Mill Street. It's got a big sign on it that says Wildcat Closet. Will's logo's up there because he's one of our sponsors. And
it was the shop building when I was in middle school.
It was. I've heard legend of the shop building.
Yep,
yes,
it was. That was it. Sure was.
We hear the screams of, in the night.
And the middle school, the locker room for the middle school football team.
Ew. That's what the smell is.
That's what the smell is.
I was a cheerleader, and I rode a bus with a lot of stinky athletes in my day.
Bet you did.
Yuck.
Okay. Hey, we'll be back next week. Thanks for hanging with us today. We had a good time, and we hope you did too. And we'll see you soon.
Bye,
right
guys.
Here on K-ROG and Planet 417. See you later.